Welcome everyone. Today I have a Xeno Zone Zero patch 1.3 Primal Gem calculation and also Excel guide. Looking behind me, I have summarized a lot of different notes and also information for the latest patch and also using a live stream for the latest events. So here we have screenshot all the related events for patch 1.3. And in this video, we'll go through where you can get more polychromes and where you can get additional loots and also additional freebies, including more summons, more events in this particular patch. So as a summary, you can see over here, we can get around 13,000 polychromes in patch 1.3, around 32 summons that includes both standard summon and also limited banner summons. If you're just looking for limited banner summons, it's likely we get around 102 limited banner summons in this particular patch. And in this video, make sure you use the timestamps below as we go through all the parts of the game for patch 1.3 where you can get those loots. Now coming over to the standard income for patch 1.3. As usual guys, we'll have a 42 days reset for the ambush mode together with 2 reset of serum defense which can add up to 1,400 polychromes. So let me show you guys in the game, what we're looking at is going to be the ambush mode reset that will happen very soon in about a few days. And also here we have the serum defense that will reset every 14 days. So those are the common repetitive income we can earn. After that, over the course of 42 days, you'll be getting 60 polygems each as you log into the game. And this is quite straightforward. There are 2 parts that is also added to the game as a bonus standard income. So let me come over to our notes and show you guys over here. And if you look at this particular screenshot, you can see there is another 60 polychromes for the weekly additional task. And this happens every week. So incorporating this to Excel, we look at around 360 polychromes for the course of 6 weeks. Now there's also a new mode that is added to the game with a permanent feature called the Tower. And for this particular Tower event, let me go to the event that we mentioned earlier. For this particular Tower event, this is a permanent feature that does not allow us to recover HP. And if similar to all the MiHoYo games, a permanent feature is very likely to have both a permanent reward and also a repetitive reward that happens every 14, 24 or 42 days. But at the moment, we're not sure how much this is, so I didn't put any values. But I have estimated this amount on the second part. So the standard income for the first part for 1.3 will definitely go up close to 5,000 over the period of the 42 days. Now, if you have a look at the patch-specific income for patch 1.3, in terms of the polychromes and also giveaways, we're not sure how much we'll get for those. But in terms of the guaranteed income, we know that for patch, let me zoom in a little bit, we know that for patch 1.4, there will be 300 live gem promo code similar to patch 1.3. And this happens on the second half of the patch. In terms of the promo code and also live web event, you're looking at around 150 of the polychromes similar to 1.3. And in terms of getting new achievements, around 200 to 300 new polychromes from those achievements. Now, upon logging to the game with patch 1.3, you're looking at 600 polychromes, 300 for the bug fix, 300 for waiting for the login. And in terms of the ongoing maintenance, I'm not sure if you guys have noticed, during each of the patch, as the patch and also new characters becomes live, sometimes you will get a lot of compensations. So you can see there are a lot of compensations for the bugs and also related patch fixes that is live and also hotfix in the patch. And for 1.2, we're able to get 300 polychromes. It is likely we can get around 200 to 300 for 1.3 as well. Now the next part is quite interesting. The developers has mentioned that they are changing the character story. So here you can see the character side story, now Yanagi and also the lightest character side story will feature a mode which they give more generous polychromes. By the summary and also screenshot from the live stream, it is possible we're looking at around 200 to 400 polychromes per character. So those are like a mini event for those characters with a lot of different features. And this was of course a highlight for the live stream. So if you look at my summary over here, I'm expecting to have some stories for patch 1.3 together with the character side stories. I'm estimating around 600 polychromes for those particular events. Now over here, we also expect some of the standard income in terms of in-game cheers and also stage collections, 1.3 side quests, and also additional character casting reward for Yanagi and also Light. Now we mentioned earlier about the tower climbing event. So for this particular event, I'm expecting a very generous income because in comparison, a similar permanent feature, let me show you guys the senior defense. When senior defense mode was introduced, I do believe I think we got a lot. Yes, we got 200 polychromes per level and there were 8 levels. So I think we got close to 1,600 for those collection of each of the levels for completing the permanent feature. And there's also a resetting feature that can be collected. So try to be a little modest over here. I'm expecting to have at least 1,200 polychromes coming from the tower defense mode. And likely in the future, this will become a regular feature for additional income that is coming every week. Now, as we keep going with the latest 1.3 events, there is a new Hollow Zero event mode that also gives a free weapon. Oh, my bad, a free pet that is. It is one that gives Night Plume, I believe. So here, what we can see is the first clear for Hollow Zero usually around 560 for those new events, which are pretty generous. Now, if we do get new story and also new zone with 1.3, which is highly likely because you can see in the trailers, we can expect at least 1 male officer. If there's 2 male officers, likely around 240 polychromes. Now, as we keep going, the developers has also mentioned about additional character friendship rewards. And for each of those rewards, you're looking at around 80 polychromes for each of the characters. There's Yanagi, there's Light, there may be other A-rank characters to be added over here. And of course, guys, the regular income for Hollow Zero is always available. So this in terms of the expansion of the lessons levels. So right now we're at 90. Last patch we opened from 60 to 90, I believe. And we also get the weekly income over here in terms of those tasks. So those two combined is actually around 960 and also 480, which is actually a very generous reward in terms of doing the tasks weekly and completing those mini tasks. Now on the topic of the mini tasks, you can do the doggy scratches. You're expecting around 60 polychromes a week, which add up to 360 polychromes over the course of 6 weeks. And doing your web checking event will give you 60 polychromes. And if you haven't done the web checking event, this happens every 42 days. I'll have the links available for you guys. Now, finally, there are 4 different pet collection events that I'll go through with you guys. So here you can see the developers really into pets this time. So after the character side story events, you can see there is 1 pet event, there is another pet event, cooking event, there's a pet assistant event, and finally, there is a helping pet event. So we're expecting to have 4 different pet events in the course of 42 days. It is likely we'll have 2 pet events on the first half and then 2 pet events on the second half of the banner. And finally, of course, we also have the double loose events. I don't think we get any polychromes in the double loose events, but you do get double materials in terms of those listed materials over here. Now, in terms of the free summons income for Patch 1.3, we only have 1 month reset for the month of November. Because October is going to go into Patch 1.2, we won't get the reset for the Patch 1.3. So here you'll be getting 2 additional summons coming from the monthly reset on the side shop over here, as you guys know. And of course, if you come over here to the signal shop, you can get your additional resets coming over here. So those are 5 and also 5 incomes for the month of November. Now we'll also be getting 10 free summons as a login reward for both the pets and also the characters for Patch 1.3. And this is the major source of the free-to-play limited banner income in terms of free summons. So all in all for Patch 1.3, you're looking at around 17 of the standard banner summons and 15 of the free limited banner summons, which translates into around 5,000 polychromes if we add everything into polychromes. So coming back to the total summary over here, this is when you can see the numbers. This number add up all the standard income together with the income that we get from all the side quests and also missions. This particular number shows all the summons you can get, and this number adds everything up in terms of just how much in value of polychromes you can get. And of course, guys, we're expecting around 90 to 102 and maybe even 110 free summons in total of everything that we mentioned over here. So whether you're summoning for Yanagi, Lighter, or saving for Patch 1.4, you can expect this much amount in Patch 1.3. So let us know in the comments below, guys, what do you think about Patch 1.3? And in comparison to Patch 1.2, we do have a little further if you come over to Patch 1.2. Now, why did we get a lot more in Petromite 2? One of the biggest factor that you got a lot more is because we are enjoying the month of reset for the month of October and also November. So this together provide us with a lot more resets and also a lot more summons, as you can see over here. And at the same time, the developers were quite generous with some of the mini mode and also arcade mode for Petromite 2 for those additional loots.